Hi, everybody. It's another episode of CX OnPoint with Precision Point Partners. Hi, Ken Epstein. It's been a while since we've had you on here. Welcome.
Good to see you, Alicia. Everything's great. How are you?
Awesome, doing well. So we're excited today to welcome a very special guest, actually. So we have with us Alan Wheatley. He's been in healthcare for over 30 years. We won't give the exact number. Spending most of those years at Humana, where he was most recently the president of the Medicare and Medicaid business. He and Ken go way back, so I'm going to have you lead a lot of these questions since you and Alan have collaborated. And we're excited, Alan, that you're joining us from my husband's home state of Kentucky. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Alicia. It's great to see you, and thank you for the very, very nice introduction. I don't know how very, very special I am, but happy to be here, and it's always good to see an old friend in Ken, and excited to collaborate with him on this podcast, and we've worked together for a long time. So a lot of good memories of my relationship with Ken.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to talk about healthcare and where it's going and very cool trending topics. So Ken, let's have you kind of take us away.
Yeah, sure. First of all, hi, Alan. It's always good to see you. Don't get to see you as much as I used to, but I always enjoy getting together. So thank you very much for joining me today. Healthcare is constantly changing. It seems to be at the tip of everybody's tongue right now. And there's a lot going on. And I don't think I know anybody who understands the ins and outs of it better than you do. So I really do appreciate having you with us today to kind of talk about some of the things that are going on and just give some really good information, some insights from somebody who's got his finger on it all the time. So thank you for that. I thought a good place to start might be, with all the talk everywhere you go, all you hear is AI. And with all the talk about generative AI, what fundamental boundaries does a healthcare company have to set? Because there's a lot of controversy.
Well, there is controversy, and there's a variety of ways to think about the AI piece. As I think about it, and as I think about healthcare broadly, first of all, there's a tremendous amount of waste in the system, and healthcare organizations that have used things like machine learning and now more recently artificial intelligence to really get at automation and accuracy. Both of those are extremely important as you think about delivering the right level of care at the right point and doing it in a manner that is most effective and most efficient. So healthcare companies are under a lot of cost pressure, as they should be and need to be. So they've constantly used different technologies. I remember back in the old days, macros. Ken, when you and I were running call centers together, we used different forms of the technology that exists today, just different ways to automate and figure out how we can have customer service reps do their job better and be more efficient and effective at it and deliver a better experience. And AI largely is the multi-generations later of that kind of technology that we've used, and it allows you in a more broad way, in a more precise way at the same time, to eliminate waste, to create accuracy in the system, whether it's just doing prior authorization reviews and automating those so that the patient can get the level of care that they need faster, whether it's analyzing data and getting after data and integrating data in different ways, or whether it's just taking administrative costs out of the system. It's a really important technology, and I think as long as healthcare continues to evaluate it and use it the right way, it will continue to make the process and healthcare system and delivery better. Now, there are privacy issues and concerns that I think everyone needs to be aware of. I think AI gets a little bit of a bad rap in the press over all the concerns around it, and some of those concerns are valid. I think you just have to be careful how you use it and be very thoughtful in healthcare about the privacy and security issues surrounding it. It's like healthcare is privacy and security issues across the board. So this is just one more item that you have to address.
Yeah, got it. So it does have a place and a function, and hopefully will make for better experiences when folks are having conversations with patients, members, et cetera, and drive compliance at the same time because it's somewhat foolproof to a certain extent.
Agreed. I mean, being able to deliver consistent, more accurate answers that take the ability to understand a drug and understand if there are any drug interactions that an individual will have. That's just one simple use that AI can really help foster the speed and the accuracy of something like that to deliver better patient care.
Right. Right. And we know that the plans are being forced to examine economics and cost structures right now because of the pressures that are put on them. So I would imagine anything they can do to make it faster, cheaper, yet still very effective, they're going to be very interested in.
That's exactly right. And the more plans can automate and be more accurate when they're dealing with providers in the healthcare system and deliver a better product to the healthcare providers and ultimately to the members, everyone wins in that scenario.
Yeah. Interesting. We were talking the other day, and you were sharing with me the penetration of Medicare today and where it stands and how the universe is getting a little smaller. So there's got to be a lot of adaptation along the way to kind of work within that realm.
Medicare Advantage is over 50% penetrated at this point. So the growth rate, healthcare companies have lived off of the tremendous amount of pool of individual Medicare beneficiaries to be able to grow at a certain rate, certain pace. Now that the penetration rates are so high, we're getting so high, the growth rates are going to start to slow. And as those growth rates slow, it's going to really pressure health insurance organizations who have grown accustomed to a certain level of growth, top line and bottom line. They're going to be squeezed on that growth, and they're going to have to really think differently about how they compete and really think differently about, alternative sources of revenue, alternative sources of margin, whether that's investing, getting more vertically integrated, whether that's getting more efficient, more effective at what they do to lower costs and improve outcomes. It's going to be interesting over the next 5 to 10 years to see how certain organizations evolve their strategy due to the declining growth rate of Medicare Advantage programs.
So within healthcare, there seems to be lots of discussion about the movement to value-based delivery. And while it's designed to provide better outcomes for patients, there are impacts on the overall economics. What's your view?
Value-based is nothing new. The value-based care and risk-taking providers have been around for more than 3 decades. What has become very new over the last 10 years is the incredible explosion of value-based care, because most of the value-based were in Illinois, parts of Illinois, Chicago, most of Florida, and all of California. So now it's expanded across many parts of the country. In fact, I would tell you most health plans would tell you the majority of their Medicare patients are in some level of value-based relationship. And then so providers are growing more and more accustomed to taking risk on the health plan insurance dollar. So as they continue to do that, that risk comes with, okay, how do I perform my job or deliver care in a way that looks more holistic at the patient and not just episodic medicine, but overall care delivery. And it creates a lot of opportunities to deliver more proactive care and will ultimately improve the health of the patient by taking costs out of the system. And those value-based providers benefit from overall improved health of their patient base and overall lower cost, that they're able to make a better margin on it. And There's so many things that have come with it to make that happen. Honestly, technology, we mentioned AI, technology advancements is one of the main reasons we've been able to see value-based care grow. Is the way technology has evolved, the way everybody is on electronic medical record now versus where it was 15 years ago, the more and more integration of the healthcare systems, the ability for health plans and providers to interconnect through the EMR system and have a more interoperable exchange of data is really, really important, and there's been a huge advancement. The level of data captured and the level of data exchange for analytics purposes to be able to deliver better care, all those things have made value-based care an incredible accelerator for healthcare in general, and created incredible improvements in the delivery of care, in lower cost and better health for patients. Now, what happened when over the last decade is you've seen values of these healthcare value-based care providers just grow so rapidly. You think of some of the companies that have gone public, the Oak Streets, the P3s. I think of some of the other organizations that we've seen in this space, and the Multicanos, the multiples that they had. They've all kind of come down substantially, and to what I would tell you were more reasonable. It will be interesting to see how value-based care and values of companies continue to evolve over the next 5 years. There's a lot of change coming. There's a lot of cost pressures that health plans and value-based providers who are taking risk have. It'll be interesting to see how they work together to create those solutions and solve those problems.
Yeah, it's all the buzz. Everybody's discussing the better way to manage through the whole value-based proposition. We talked about Medicare Advantage and regarding MA, and how it's grown over the past 5 to 10 years. How do you sense they've achieved that type of growth, and what role has supplemental benefits played in that growth? Because one thing I've noticed over the years is it seems like there are more and more sub benefits now associated with MA plans, to the point now where it almost feels as though it's almost like when you used to sign up for the bank and you get a free toaster. It seems like the plans are really competitive now in trying to provide some really valuable supplemental benefits to their members.
But it's a lot packed in your question. I'll say it this way. If you rewind the clock 10 years ago, 2014, it was a lot more difficult to sign up for a health plan. Not the least of which is access to an agent. 2014, you didn't have, most of the agents were field-based. You had to go to their office or they had to come to your house to sell a plan. And what I'll call telebrokers or e-brokers, while been around a little while, were very small in the grand scheme of things. The other thing that we've seen, dollars of spend in marketing today relative to 2014, has grown almost an order of magnitude. It's crazy. So what's happened is there's been a flood of telebrokers and e-brokers into the market. Technology has also improved, so it's easier to also buy online. So when that happened, you had tremendous access for customers. So it was a lot easier to buy a plan. And what became easier to buy a plan, health plans started flooding the airways with marketing. So marketing went up substantially. That created a lot of lead generation, a lot of interest for consumers, and the access to be able to buy the plan existed. So that you saw from 2014 to 2020 to 2020 plus a tremendous amount of growth in Medicare Advantage, more than we had seen in the past. So I would tell you a lot of it is about access, and a lot of it was about the advancements of the distribution channels. Along the same time frame, you saw an incredible positive funding environment. Medicare Advantage organizations and the rates that they were getting for CMS continued to be fairly positive year after year. So what you saw is you saw benefits continuing to improve year after year. And then you saw more and more organizations compete in more and more geographies. So there were more plans offered, easier to buy. There was more marketing to discuss the plans, and there was more value per plan. So it was a great time to be a senior, and has been a great time to be a senior. So we used to compete over lower specialist and primary care copays, lower drug copays, how broad your formulary was. And now you've seen this big shift because most of those what I'll call traditional medical benefits are more uniform across plans. So, and given the influx of dollars from CMS, plans were looking for alternative ways to be able to differentiate themselves, and that created the broad explosion of supplemental benefits and what you see with better vision benefits, better hearing benefits, much more robust dental benefits, all the over-the-counter benefits, the meals benefits, the way Medicare Advantage programs work today. They're effectively some of these supplemental benefits are effectively cash benefits where you can buy groceries, you can pay your electric bill, you can pay your cell phone bill. So it's really about the differentiation that health plans are trying to create and how they create value for consumers to make them sticky so that they'll retain year to year and attract new customers. So it's been crazy. Now, what some of the results of that is, A, explosive growth that we've seen, but B, we've seen, in my opinion, the industry as a whole really get out over its skis and chase top line substantially more than bottom line. And there's been margin compression in a significant way. And in 2024, 2023, and 2024, I would tell you significant cost pressure that was unexpected. And for my money, that comes in two things. A, reacting to competitive forces that have forced you to be more aggressive on how you thought about cost. But B, we've also seen a trend increase in the industry as a whole that have created that pressure. So what you're going to see going forward is pulling back on some of those benefits. I think the industry as a whole is going to have to. There's, kind of the exact opposite of what we're seeing from 10 years ago. There's more cost pressure. CMS rates are not as positive, and margins are not nearly as robust as they were 10 years ago. Health plans are going to have to react by taking and pulling back some of those benefits that they've given over the past decade and find new and different ways to differentiate themselves.
CMS came out with some new regulations just a week ago, and I think a little over a week ago. And just curious, from your exposure to any of those new regs, how you think they will affect payers. And it seems like there's more heavy rules on brokers. So, how do you feel about all that?
Well, just broadly, CMS is starting to require some of the health plans to have much better reporting in terms of the utilization of supplemental benefits, the utilization of those benefits, and the financial justification of those benefits in terms of what overall healthcare cost savings you may receive or health plans should expect, and requiring health plans to put those in bids. So those are going to have some interesting implications to health plans as they're going through bid season, which they're doing right now. On the broker side and distribution side, my view is I think CMS is trying to rein in some of the costs of distribution, all the marketing spend, the dramatic increase we've seen there, and then all the payments to brokers. CMS tries to limit and put a cap on payments to brokers, and then the field marketing organizations in which the brokers report to. So they've begun to pull back or attempt to pull back on what the overall broker fees and commission rates and marketing support payments can be and look like. I would tell you in my reading of the documents, it's still unclear. And I think CMS and health plans are going to have to push CMS to help understand what the overall implications are for how much can you provide marketing development support to a field marketing organization. How that CMS has continued to pull back on lead generation and pull back on the flexibility health plans have for how they obtain leads, how they buy leads, how they sell leads, how they generate leads. So I do believe there are continued and there will continue to be restrictions on the overall distribution channel with the intent of, in my mind, CMS's intent to pull back on some of the cost and cost structures. The natural implications of that is it's going to start to lower the amount of brokers and the amount of investment in distribution, which is going to lower and limit the amount of access consumers have to be able to buy plans. It'll be an interesting balance as we work to see, because if access is going to be more restricted than it's been and the growth rate's going to be slower, it's going to put even more pressure on the competitive dynamics across health plans. So more to come on it, but I think the distribution rules and regulations are still very much evolving, even for 2025.
Alan, that is a great observation and an excellent place to end this episode of CX On Point. Ken and I want to just thank you for joining us and sharing your amazing insights. If you enjoyed this chat with Alan and Ken, I have excellent news. Alan will be back to continue the discussion about the vital role of customer experience in healthcare. And specifically, they're going to go into how providers and payers can outsource part of that function and even health plan sales to gain competitive advantage without sacrificing quality. That'll be on the next episode of CX On Point, wherever you get your podcast.